What's up, Nail Geeks? So for my second video today, I have Night Owl Lacquer's newest Halloween collection, her color of the month, and her anniversary limited edition polish. We have some adorable names and really cute crellies to check out, so let's dive right in. First up is Wings of a Bat. This is a black base packed with charcoal sparkle flakes. So in my opinion, this is a really unique take on a black type of polish for Halloween. As you can see on this first coat here, the base color is a smoky type of black. As you build it up, what takes over for opacity is those charcoal flakes. They're really interesting and it gives this almost velvety, somewhat textured looking appearance. But please note there is no texture on this, but it just gives this interesting looking velvety appearance to it. Now for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. Personally, I would take this one up to 3 coats and just polish kind of thin. It's got a very bouncy type of jelly formula to it, so just allow itself to build up and you'll get a ton of those flakes and it really gives that really interesting deep type of black appearance. Now as you can see between my coats here, this does dry down quite a bit on the flat side, so you're going to want to finish off with a good glossy top coat and you'll get that nice plump effect from being a jelly type of polish. And next we have Bone of a Goblin. This is an off-white with lots of taupe micro flakes. So this is definitely true to that description. It is an off-white, so it's not a stark white, and it has quite a bit of a neutral taupe-like undertone to it. Now those micro flakes in here are coming off quite a bit on the subtle side, and they also came off on the subtle side for my swatches too. Now please note in person, I think they are on the more subtle side. They're not super noticeable, but again, it gives this almost somewhat textured like appearance when you're finished. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Now again, this is not textured. It does dry down very smooth. It's got a very creamy, rich feel to this base, but it does dry down flat. So again, I would recommend a good glossy top coat. And Flesh of a Zombie is a murky green filled with green and silver and burgundy to red to bronze to gold multi-chrome flakes. This is another jelly type of polish in terms of formula, and again for opacity I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. However, I took this one up to 2 normal coats and you'll see here in just a moment it really starts to build up for opacity. Now the formula to it is really smooth, it's very jelly-like, but it really does build up on itself. There is a ton of those flakes in this one and you'll see a lot of greens and silvers and bronzes and a bit of copper throughout them, and you'll get that nice flaky-like effect. Now this also dries down quite a bit on the flat side, so once again, I'm going to keep repeating myself. You'll need a good glossy top coat, which is what you're seeing on the final hand shot here. And PS, if you haven't tried Night Owl Lacquer's quick dry glossy top coat, patience not required, I highly recommend it. And we have Heart of a Witch. This is a dark purple filled with purple to blue to green multi-chrome flakes and purple to blue iridescent micro glitters. So this also has quite a bit of a squishy jelly-like factor on those brush strokes. I think for the most part, I would recommend wearing this one at 3 normal to thin coats. It's very squishy and very juicy-like on those brush strokes, but as you build it up, it's really going to depend on your preference for what type of purple essentially you're going for. So you can see on this second coat, it's more of a grape-like purple. It definitely darkens out as you build it up, but once you go in for that third coat, it really starts to vampen out across your nails. Now in person, this has this really lovely luminous type of purple and blue flaky effect with it. I think it's being a touch subtle on the video, so please note in person they are more obvious and they give this really strong glowing factor when you're in like shaded and indoor lighting. Now again, you are seeing a glossy top coat on the full hand shot here, and I think you're kind of getting a little bit more of a feel for what those flakes look like. And next we've got Juice of a Jack-O-Lantern. This is a pumpkin orange loaded with glowing red to gold to green aurora shimmer. I do have to say, I think this is one of my favorite oranges I've worked on this season. It's definitely right up there with the potion polishes that I just put up the other day. It's a really lovely orange. Now, what I really like about it is the type of Aurora shimmer in this. It's of the medium to somewhat finer particle, in my opinion, and it gives this very strong glowy factor as you build it up. So it's got a jelly-like formula, but it is very smooth and quite a bit squishy on the brush strokes. I will suggest 3 coats on this one. Those of you with somewhat shorter nails or a less opaque free edge, you might be able to get away with 2 coats on it, but I think going in for that 3rd coat really helps to plump it out and just maximize that shimmer effect. Now, I did try to catch the color roll with this one on my macro shots. I don't think I did it justice, so please note in person, there is a lovely gold and somewhat green type of shift at very extreme angles. It's just really lovely and just very luminous for an orange. And next we have Blood of a Wendigo. This is a dark red filled with red to copper to gold, multichrome flakes, and orange to gold iridescent micro glitters. So this has a very similar formula to Wings of a Bat or Flesh of a Zombie. It is on the jelly side. It's a bit more on the dense type of feel and how you're applying. But true to a jelly, it's definitely going to darken out whether or not you wear it at 2 or 3 coats. So in my opinion, I think 2 coats really exploits how that base color is supposed to look. But of course, if you polish on the thinner side, you might want to go in for a 3rd coat. Definitely going to depend on your preference. Now this is packed full of flakes, so again, I'm going to recommend a good glossy top coat to smooth everything out and get that nice plump effect. And next we have October's cream of the month. This is Dark Hearted, described as a blackened burgundy cream. So this has a definite cream type of formula to it, but it's got this ultra smooth, somewhat jelly-like factor. A little bit different than her typical formulas for her creams, but it applies very opaque and very smooth. It self-levels out wonderfully. And for opacity, I'm going to suggest 2 coats on it. Now this is one of those burgundies that when you're in really, really bright lights, you can kind of tell it's almost like an oxblood, but in indoor and normal lighting, it definitely is going to take on this blackened appearance. Just overall, really lovely color and super wonderful formula. You can see here on the 2nd coat, I went in just a touch heavier just to kind of really exploit letting it just self-level across my nails. And finally, we have the 4-year anniversary polish for Night Owl Lacquer. This is Carpe Noctem and is described as a dark purple loaded with red to gold to green aurora shimmer and holographic dust. So this has a somewhat jelly, somewhat crelly-like formula to it. It really builds up very quickly across the nail. And for the most part, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats. This is very pretty in person. I do feel like the video is being a pretty good representation of what I'm seeing in person. The base color is definitely a nice grapey type of dark purple. However, the Aurora shimmer is very strong here. There's a load of it in this polish. And in bright lights and in indoor lighting, you're going to see it as this reddish copperish like effect. And at angles, there is a shift of gold, and at extreme angles, you'll see a bit of green. It's very lovely. Now, this also dries down on the flat side, so once again, I'm going to recommend a good glossy top coat. Now, please keep in mind that Carpe Noctem is limited edition and it's only available through October 31st. After that, it will be removed from the shop. Everything else typically sticks around for at least 3 months in the website. And all of these will release September 25th at 6 p.m. MDT. I will break all of this down below for you guys, including the pricing information, as they're a little bit different per the different shades and all that good stuff. And I'll also link you guys below to Night Owl Lacquer's Facebook group if you want to get in there and check all that good stuff out too. I am not done with you guys. I have several more collections to show you guys, and then we'll dive into polish pickup this weekend. Busy swatching time. Lots of fall pretties. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.